Welcome to ASTRALX, illuminating your cosmic path, where we explore how the stars influence your life. I'm Solarian Zephyr, your cosmostrategist.
And I'm Lunaria Celine, your intuitive guide.
And today we are taking a deep dive into the astrological landscape of 2025.
Specifically for men with both a Cancer sun and Cancer rising.
This double Cancer energy makes for a potent combination. We've gathered insights from ancient wisdom, professional observations, and personal experiences.
To really illuminate what 2025 holds for you, so let's get right to it.
So having both your sun and your rising sign in the same sign, that must create quite a synergy.
Yes, it's like the core of a tree and the bark, both of the same essential nature. Your inner world and the face you show to the world are deeply interwoven.
And for a man with Cancer rising, what's the first impression he tends to give off?
Often it's one of gentleness, empathy, and a very nurturing presence.
There's this approachability about them, a calmness that puts people at ease.
Exactly, and sometimes this can be perceived as shyness, even a little reserved at first.
But as trust builds, that guard gently softens.
Right, and it's ruled by the moon, which is associated with youthfulness, so that can contribute to a sort of gentle, even youthful appearance.
I've even heard descriptions like baby face or a princess vibe with Cancer rising.
Yes, and while those terms might have stereotypical connotations, they point to a subtle power, like a disarming softness that masks a deep resilience.
I like that, a disarming softness. So we're talking about the I'm baby rising sign.
Yes, exactly. That initial presentation of vulnerability, it can be surprisingly effective as a shield. For men, it might come across as an openness, maybe even a bit naive.
While they carefully protect their sensitive inner world.
Right. It's not manipulation, but a kind of emotional intelligence. They make others feel safe, which allows them a degree of control.
Fascinating. Now, what about that incredible emotional sensitivity that Cancer is known for?
It's a defining characteristic. An innate ability to sense the feelings of others, to pick up on those unspoken emotions.
Like they have an extra sense, tuned into the emotional undercurrents.
And that makes them incredibly supportive and understanding.
But that also means they can be more susceptible to mood swings.
Absolutely. And they might absorb negative energy from their surroundings, so healthy boundaries are key.
It's like their sensitivity is both a gift and a challenge.
Precisely.
And I've often heard that the early relationship with the mother is significant for Cancer risings.
Yes, that foundational relationship really influences their sense of self and their approach to nurturing.
It sets the stage for that deep desire for security and connection to home that Cancer is known for.
And that profound loyalty, a core part of their character, this need to protect those they love.
Creating that comfortable and safe home environment becomes a top priority.
For men, this might manifest in their roles as providers and protectors, prioritizing stability.
That makes sense. And that initial caution we talked about, it can actually be a strategy for building trust.
Yes, they assess situations and people carefully before fully opening up emotionally.
So it's not just being shy, it's a way of protecting that sensitive heart.
Exactly.
Now, let's turn our attention to the core of who you are as a double Cancer man. Your Cancer sun.
Ah, yes. With your sun in Cancer, your very essence is rooted in emotion and nurturing. You have profound intuition and a capacity for empathy that's truly remarkable.
And there's often a sentimental side to Cancer suns.
Definitely. They cherish traditions, memories, family history. They might be the keepers of those stories that bind loved ones together.
The sentimental storytellers of the family.
Exactly. And that need to connect on an emotional level, that's fundamental for them, fostering deep intimacy.
It's about those heart-to-heart connections.
Absolutely.
Now, home and family must hold immense significance for Cancer suns as well.
Absolutely. It's central. They prioritize creating a safe and nurturing space, a true sanctuary. As men, this often translates into being devoted partners, fathers, and grandfathers.
Putting the well-being of their loved ones above almost everything else.
It's that mother sign energy coming through, those protective instincts.
Like a fierce mama bear protecting their cubs.
Yes, but also like the kitchen witch, nourishing and caring for everyone. It's that beautiful duality of nurturing and protectiveness.
I love those images.
They really want to weave compassion into all their relationships. That's a cornerstone of how they interact with the world.
So they feel things deeply, experience the world with so much sensitivity. That must make them wonderful brothers, sons, partners.
It does. They offer incredible support and understanding, but that sensitivity can also lead to mood swings, taking things personally.
It's like they feel the ripples of every emotional current, and sometimes those currents are rough.
Right. And they may hold on to hurt feelings, carry those past hurts with them.
Like heavy keepsakes.
Yes, exactly. And that moody label, often associated with Cancer, it comes from that close connection to the moon, the ebb and flow of their feelings.
It's a rhythm they need to learn to navigate.
Absolutely.
Now, Cancer is also known for its connection to the past.
They have a tendency to hold on to things, whether it's physical objects or emotional memories.
A bit of nostalgia.
Definitely. And that can shape their present experiences in profound ways.
Sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much.
It's a balance, and that protectiveness can sometimes manifest as a desire to control things.
To ensure everyone's safety and well-being.
Exactly. But they're also known for being selfless friends, always there to lend a hand.
The reliable ones you can always count on.
That's right.
Okay, so now let's talk about this double Cancer energy. What happens when you combine the sun and the rising sign in Cancer?
It amplifies everything we've been talking about. All those Cancerian traits are intensified.
It's like turning up the volume on those emotions, that sensitivity, that nurturing instinct.
Precisely. And that means they might experience emotional overwhelm more easily, like being waterlogged, as some astrologers say.
So they might need to be extra mindful of self-care, finding ways to process those emotions.
Absolutely. That empathy and protectiveness are heightened, so they feel others' emotions even more intensely.
And that drive to care for loved ones becomes even stronger.
Yes, but it could also lead to being overly protective or clingy, something to be aware of.
It's that guardian aspect turned up to 11.
Exactly. And that connection to their inner world deepens. The moon, as the ruler of Cancer, plays a huge role here.
So their moods might be even more changeable.
They might experience those mercurial mood swings more intensely, but on the flip side, their emotional intelligence is also amplified.
So they have the potential to be incredibly emotionally aware, both of themselves and others.
Exactly.
Okay, so with that understanding of the double Cancer man in mind, let's look at what 2025 has in store astrologically. What are some of the key transits we should be aware of?
Well, one of the most significant is Jupiter entering Cancer around June 9th. Now, Jupiter is the planet of expansion and good fortune.
And it's considered exalted in Cancer, right?
That's right. So its positive influence is amplified in this sign. And since home, family, and emotional well-being are central to Cancer, this transit is particularly powerful for them.
So this sounds like a time of growth and abundance in those areas.
Exactly. They might see opportunities for expansion in their personal life, their home environment, or even their career, especially if it involves nurturing or caring for others.
It's like their natural gifts are being recognized and rewarded.
Exactly. But they should also be mindful of overconfidence, not letting success go to their heads.
Balance is always key.
Absolutely. Now, we also have Saturn moving into Aries from May 24th to September 1st, then retrograding back into Pisces.
Okay, so Saturn, the planet of structure and responsibility, is shaking things up a bit.
It is. This could bring a focus on career and taking initiative, but there might be a challenge in balancing ambition with that Cancerian need for security.
Aries energy can be pretty fiery and impulsive, which might feel a bit out of their comfort zone.
Right, so taking calculated risks and building solid foundations will be important during this transit.
It's like stepping out of that cozy shell, but making sure they have a strong base to return to.
Precisely.
Now, what about Venus retrograde? That always seems to cause a stir.
It does. Venus goes retrograde in Aries from March 1st to the 27th, then moves into Pisces until April 12th.
So that's a double whammy of retrograde energy, affecting love and values.
It is. And for a double Cancer man, this could bring up a lot of introspection about their relationships.
Past relationships might resurface, prompting them to reevaluate what they truly want in a partner.
Exactly. The Aries retrograde could highlight issues of assertiveness and independence.
And then the Pisces retrograde might emphasize compassion and forgiveness.
It's a time for healing and growth in matters of the heart. And with Jupiter in Cancer during this period, those close relationships could deepen, becoming more emotionally fulfilling.
So a time of both challenge and opportunity in love.
That's right.
Now, what about the lunar nodes?
They're shifting into Pisces and Virgo in 2025, highlighting themes of spiritual growth and practical skills.
So time for balancing the intuitive with the tangible.
Exactly. The North Node in Pisces encourages trusting their intuition, letting go of control.
And the South Node in Virgo might point out any perfectionistic tendencies that are holding them back.
It's about integrating those two sides of themselves, the dreamer and the doer.
Finding that sweet spot.
Right.
Finally, what about Neptune's influence?
Neptune's move into Aries is a longer-term transit that will affect their career and public image over time.
So more subtle, but still significant.
Definitely. Neptune in Aries can inspire them to pursue creative or spiritual paths,
It's like their imagination is being activated, urging them to dream bigger.
but they'll need to stay grounded, not get lost in illusions. Discernment is key with Neptune.
So a balance of inspiration and practicality.
That's right.
It seems like 2025 is full of astrological nuances for the double Cancer man. It's a time for embracing their emotional depth, stepping outside their comfort zone, and following their intuition.
Absolutely. And now I think it's important to address how those traditional nurturing qualities of Cancer can be expressed in a masculine way.
Because there's sometimes a misconception that nurturing is solely feminine.
Right. But as partners, double Cancer men offer unwavering support and loyalty. They crave that deep emotional connection.
They want to build a life with someone who understands and appreciates their sensitive heart.
Exactly. And as fathers and grandfathers, they create loving and secure homes, wanting their children to feel cherished and safe.
It's about providing that emotional foundation, that sense of belonging.
Absolutely. And as brothers and sons, they offer that steadfast support and understanding.
They're the ones you can always turn to for a shoulder to cry on or a listening ear.
Exactly. You know, it's almost like that archetype of the Roman that's sometimes associated with Cancer.
The builders, the protectors.
Yes. They create strong structures, both literally and metaphorically, within their families and communities.
And they often have a strong sense of tradition and courtesy.
Definitely. And in a world that often equates masculinity with emotional stoicism, their emotional intelligence is a huge asset.
It's like a superpower, allowing them to connect with others on a deeper level.
And it challenges those limited definitions of masculinity, showing that strength can also be gentle and compassionate.
It's about leading with the heart.
Precisely.
It's like Cancer Rising has this mission to heal the idea that vulnerability is a weakness.
To show that men can be both strong and sensitive, nurturing and protective.
And that caretaking is a powerful expression of love and responsibility, regardless of gender.
Absolutely.
Now, it's important to acknowledge that with all these strengths, there are also potential challenges.
Of course. That heightened sensitivity can lead to moodiness and taking things personally.
They might need to develop coping mechanisms for those intense emotions.
Exactly. And that tendency to hold on to past hurts can be a hurdle. Forgiveness is key, both of others and themselves.
Learning to let go of those grudges and resentments.
Exactly. And their empathy can sometimes lead to taking on other people's burdens, which can be draining.
So setting boundaries is crucial.
Absolutely. They might need to be extra vigilant about preventing codependency in relationships.
Maintaining a healthy sense of self and recognizing their own needs.
That's right. But their strengths are undeniable. Their loyalty is unwavering, making them incredibly dependable friends and partners.
The people you can always count on, no matter what.
And their intuition is powerful, guiding them in making decisions and understanding others.
It's like having a built-in compass.
And that ability to create a nurturing and comfortable home is such a gift.
They can make any space feel like a sanctuary.
Exactly. So by embracing their emotional intelligence, setting those healthy boundaries, and trusting their intuition, they can truly thrive.
And that connection to the chariot archetype suggests a drive to succeed, to overcome obstacles.
They have that inner strength to navigate life's challenges and come out on top.
It's inspiring to see how this all comes together.
It is.
And it's always helpful to hear from others who have observed this Cancerian energy.
Oh, definitely.
Like Linda Goodman, who said, Cancerians are all mothers at heart, even the men.
That captures that nurturing essence so perfectly.
And Helen Keller, who was a Cancer sun herself, said, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart.
And that speaks to the depths of their emotional world.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the reminder from Hilly Common Astrology about boundaries.
It's so important for them to nurture their own intrinsic value, not just the value of others.
And then there's that quote, a Cancer's bite is always bigger than their bark. Never underestimate them.
Don't mistake their gentleness for weakness.
Exactly. They have a quiet strength that can surprise people.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up, I want to emphasize that for men with both a Cancer sun and rising, 2025 offers a powerful opportunity for growth.
It's a time to embrace their amplified Cancerian energy, to nurture their relationships, and to create a life that feels truly fulfilling.
And while sensitivity is one of their greatest strengths, it's important to remember those boundaries.
To protect their emotional well-being and prevent burnout.
And all those planetary transits we talked about will shape their journey in unique ways.
From Jupiter's expansion to Saturn's challenges to Neptune's subtle influence.
It's a cosmic dance they'll need to navigate with awareness and self-compassion.
Absolutely.
So my final thought for our listeners today is this. How will you consciously cultivate resilience and balance in your life throughout 2025?
How will you harness the power of your Cancerian energy to create a life filled with love, purpose, and joy?
Thank you for joining us on ASTRALX, illuminating your cosmic path.
For those who want to continue exploring the influence of the stars, subscribe to ASTRALX and receive our exclusive deep dive audio readings delivered right to your email. You'll find the purchase links in the description below.
Until next time, may your journey through the cosmos be filled with wonder and discovery.